This is all very interesting to me, guys, because I believed when I read a letter, I was a tax professional. I read a letter in my client's folder, and I asked him, could I act upon the letter? And he said yes. The letter was from Condoleezza Rice, the Secretary of State at that time. Secretary of State, United States. And I believed what she told all the military during that time. Everybody in the military got the same letter that I read. And what it said was invest in Iraq. Basically, that's what it said. And I believed it. And I invested in Iraq 20 years ago. And here I am retired. No, my retirement account is Social Security, and you know what an issue and concern that is. Social Security is set to become insolvent in 2030. This is 2026, guys. That's 4 years from now. So we're all hoping Congress is going to take this more serious and do something. It's unbelievable. I don't know whether to cry or to laugh because it's just unbelievable. But getting back to my retirement, I want to know why my retirement has not panned out. Yes, I was unwise to invest in the Iraqi dinar as a part of my retirement. Because, as you know, the Iraqi dinar has not done a damn thing but go down in the last 20 years. So I'm trying to understand the inside information of why this is taking so long, or what is the real rooted problems. I read all the information. I give you all the information. I relay to you what is relayed to me from reliable sources. But the more I learn, the more I understand that there's something deeper. Now, this last war between the United States, Iran, and Israel is telling me that things are going to change. But I don't know at this point how. I do know that Iran should come out of Iraq's parliament and political and finances, and that as a result, Iraq should be able to grow independent and perhaps even increase the value of its currency. Now, guys, I'm at the point that I don't care if they never get on the Forex market at my age bracket, as long as they increase the value against the dollar, and as long as Iraq becomes safe to travel to, as long as that which is greater than myself allows me the health and the strength to get on an airplane and fly to Iraq, I will fly there and take my dinars and exchange them. That's the point I'm at right now, because many of us, me included, we've been waiting a long, long time. And the bottom line of this long rant that I'm sharing with you without sharing my face is because there are reasons, spiritual reasons, religious reasons, internal reasons, rooted reasons, global reasons that the Iraqi dinar has not adjusted. I want you to know we're dealing with ancient history here. Yes, we're having to deal with banks reforming and being able to talk internationally to other banks. We're dealing with Iraq coming up to the standards of the global financial platform standards. Yes, we're dealing with all that. And that can be done in a very, very, very short period of time based upon what we are learning about the abilities of artificial intelligence. Yeah, it has something to do with the 2003 invasion. And so because the West came into their country and is now controlling some certain aspects of the country, aka their oil revenue, that the other countries don't look at Iraq as an equal per se. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's the way it looks to me. Even if they don't treat them as an equal, why hasn't the Iraqi finances, economics, etc., flourished with so much oil income coming in? And the more I dug, the more research I did, the more I traveled, the more I saw that it was much, much deeper. It's very religious, it's very spiritual, it's very global. But we know there's something that they're hiding. And we know that the last pope said, oh no, you're not doing that. And he got on an airplane right after the COVID and risked his life and went to Iraq to keep the doors open for the Christian religion. Now that trip was historical in more ways than one. But here's the deal. One of the questions that I have on my heart and in my subconscious and my conscious mind at all times is why the hell Iran keeps acting like they are the forefathers or the guardian angels for Iraq. Why do they think Iraq is not an equal? Why do they treat Iraq like a stepchild? Now, I don't know if you remember or not, but I wrote in the blog when I was in Peru, I met a man who was living in the same Airbnb apartment complex that I was living in. It was only like 8 units, so it was small enough that we all kind of talked to each other or said hello and where are you from kind of thing. This man was Iranian or is Iranian, but he was a U.S. citizen. He is also a U.S. citizen. He was in the United States when Iran took over the embassy. And he got a choice after he graduated from college, because he was in the U.S. for education purposes, to stay in the U.S. or to go back. And he decided to stay. So he became a U.S. citizen. So, of course, I asked him about why the Iranians are always treating Iraqis like a stepchild. And he hemmed and hawed me. But basically what he said was because the Iraqis didn't have sense enough to deal with global powers. Okay, I heard you, but I don't necessarily believe you, but I didn't say that to him. I continued to be a normal expat, senior, retired, traveling the globe slowly. We were both staying in a complex that overlooked the Pacific Ocean. It was gorgeous. And my rent was like $580 something a month, and his was even cheaper than that. Here I am in Georgia, the country of Georgia, which used to be Russia, and everybody here my age are really Russian at heart. They're not Georgian. They weren't born in Georgia, although they lived in this area all their life. They were born in Russia. So when you become a part of the community and you're living in the community like I do with Airbnb, you get to know the people around you. Your minds meet. You see them when you're grocery shopping or when you're going to buy your fruits, your fresh vegetables, etc. What you come to realize is that they understand a lot more about what I'm just trying to figure out as a U.S. citizen. They already understand. They're on to another plateau. And what I'm getting more and more is that one group in the Middle East accuses the other group of not being a real race or culture of people because they were not part of the original group of people. In other words, they were an off splinter.